healthyworldsolutions.com, healthyworldsolutions.com. And what I am talking about mostly nowadays is this 528 hertz frequency, because if people grasp how simple creation is, how it's manifested electromagnetically or bioacoustically, vibrationally through water, then this whole paradigm shift that we want, and everyone really wants a paradigm shift. I mean, you look at the Judeo-Christians, they're looking for the Messianic age. Same with the Muslims. If you look at the New Agers, they want to have a paradigm shift, transformation, consciousness. If you look at the Buddhists, they want peace on earth. They want to treat everything in nature as harmonically sacred. So all of the people of the planet that are good people want to have peace on earth. They want to have health, freedom, sustainability. Those things are modeled by nature. And they're not modeled by the petrochemical pharmaceutical cartel. They're modeled by just looking at a leaf or looking at the spiral of a snail, looking at the creatures in the ocean, and to see, for example, like a school of fish. Think about this. How is it that a school of fish instantaneously, 100 or 200 fish, instantaneously shift direction all precisely at the same exact moment?
That's a really great example. I love that.
Yeah, so the answer to that is because number one, they're in a hydrated medium that's very superconductive. Water is a liquid crystal superconductor. Your body is 80% water approximately. That's 80% God. You are 80% God, liquid crystal superconductor. And how it is that you could take a homeopathic under your tongue and instantaneously affect everything, or a Bach flower remedy under your tongue. Instantly, every single cell of your body does exactly what that whole school of fish does. It turns direction, it changes direction, and it does that energetically because the chemistry can't keep up with the spiritual electromagnetic frequency or the bioacoustics. This is what DNA is really about. The Rockefellers want you to believe that DNA is simply a protein synthesis template that gives rise to protein production and new cell parts. Hogwash, that's about 3% of its function. Why would they neglect over 90% of its proven function involves what they call junk DNA, which involves light and sound signaling. In other words, those fish turn instantly because they are receiving a impulse frequency of energy. It is massively fast. It basically skyrockets through that water and through their own bodies, and they instantaneously respond. That's how communication from our Creator operates. That's how nature operates. If you look at migrating species, they use the pineal gland as a gyroscope, energetically, electromagnetically, beaming their way thousands of miles, correctly finding their home without a roadmap. They do it, it's all energetics. Bioenergetics is the future of medicine. That's what they're suppressing by their intoxication.
Is it true that our pineal gland gets smaller and smaller and smaller as we get older? And is there a way to do anything about keeping that gland strong?
I believe that that's your spiritual center along with your heart. And one of the ways of reducing aging is meditating and praying. The 528 hertz frequency resonating also in your environment. I highly recommend everyone get the 528 tuning fork for about $23 and change or $24. You can have it in your purse or car, and people are doing miraculous things with it. People who are fighting, for example, socially, you come into a place or a room where two people are arguing, you strike that thing, suddenly the room becomes peaceful. People start to go back to that vibration of love. People also vibrate their bath water. The frequency vibration of 528 gets picked up in the bath, and they've now created a hydrosonic therapeutic energy transducer that's going to literally vibrate your body water into the frequency of optimal sustainability. That's love. Love is the universal healer. Water is the universal solvent. Music is the universal language. You put all three together, and you have a complete paradigm shift. You can literally get rid of all of your drugs.
Where did you come up with the 528? Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. It started back for me in 1998 when a man that was praying for me to come meet him to herald this great news about 528 and his discovery of the original musical scale. His name was Dr. Joseph Paleo. He found that in the book of Numbers, chapter 7, verses 12 through 83, you had a repeating series of mathematical numbers that were the original 6 musical scale notes, the ancient solfeggio scale. And the third note of that scale, today it's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. It used to be 6 notes, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and that mi note stands for miragistorum in Latin, or miracles in English. So it was the original miracle note of the universe, and it was very much a part of the best Gregorian chants. The most spiritually uplifting of all was the hymn to St. John the Baptist. Now again, St. John the Baptist, baptism, water, frequency resonance. The best thing that people can do to instantaneously recommune with the Creator is jump in the ocean. Your body is like salt water, and it's so close to the ocean water that you'd be amazed. So that's true communion. Divine human communion is available now for the masses. And this first concept that the miracle of recommuning with 528 was given to me in 1998, and subsequent to that, we've had one revelation after another. I had David Schmidt, who's the director of LifeWave Corporation, their little energy patches that people wear to vibrate their own body to support different physiology and changes in the body, weight loss, etc. David called me up after learning about 528. I told him about 528. He says, Len, that happens to be the center of the electromagnetic color spectrum. That's the heart of the rainbow.
Wow.
So, the concept, as above, so below. As it is in the macrocosm, in the cosmic space, so it is in the microscopic realm of DNA. So the heart of the rainbow is the heart of the Creator, is the heart of your heart. And so 528 is this greenish-yellow the botanical world has chosen. And the sacred geometry, I'm just doing this book, as I mentioned, called The Prosperity Key, 528. And I'm working with Victor Showell, who's a mathematical genius, who's done the analyses on the pyramids of Egypt to look at the sacred geometry and figure out how they're aligned cosmologically to the spiraling universe. I mean, these guys are really intelligent that I have the blessing and opportunity to work with. Victor tells us and shows us mathematically why it is that 1 mile equals 528 plus a 0, 5,280 feet. That's the kind of information. Why is it that it's not 5,281 feet or 84 feet? A mile is 5,280 feet. And if you understand Pythagorean mystery school math and how the Creator's language is math based on the ancient mystery school math, you realize you drop the 0 because the zeros are a man-made placeholder concept. The Creator's language contains only 9 numbers, 1 through 9. 10 is actually 1 plus 0. That's ancient mystery school Pythagorean math. So actually, a mile is, in this concept, equal to 528 feet, or 5,280 feet. And you also realize that ancient pi and phi and the Fibonacci series, the most important constants in the universe, they are fundamentally integrating, featuring 528. So you begin to realize that all of that knowledge has been suppressed so that the paradigm of ignorance